what the hell am I going on about? So I was a massive Garmin fanboy. The Edge 705, I think it was, like, I thought this thing was the greatest thing since sliced bread. To the 520. I was really hyped for that particular device when it came out because it had, I think, some of the phone notification stuff. It just didn't really work. Like, it was just very, very buggy. And then the Garmin Vectors happened, and I spent a lot of money on the Garmin Vectors, and I had a lot of issues with them. I massively fell out of love with Garmin. And so coming back to it now, you know, Strava's a big thing, today's plan's a big thing, and edit to share to all that sort of stuff. How does it work with my iPhone? How does it work if I don't have an iPhone? That's kind of the stuff that I find interesting with the Garmin stuff more than just the device. For the review part of this, it's going to be a little bit different. Because I've had this for a long time, what I've been doing is literally recording stuff to camera as we've gone along about certain features, certain functionalities, and once it's kind of formed in my mind, well, I pretty much just record it. So what that means for you is, well, continuity is now out the window. Prepare for multiple t-shirts, multiple haircuts, no moustaches, can't do that, different bike kits. This is the review of the 1030.
About to do Berry Mountain. It's about 9,000% humidity. I'll go up to the top. We'll do some touchscreen action, hey? Or there will be sweat. And there may be snot. There wasn't a huge amount of standing water on it, so I noticed, like, as I continued to swipe and got sort of standing water on the actual device, it started to miss the gestures. But like straight up, it worked quite well, quite fast. You can kind of see there is a lag, right? There's definitely a lag. Like, it's no Pixel or iPhone, right? My hands are wet there, guys. Like, and the screen, as you can see, is starting to pick up some condensation. So that's pretty good. I would prefer the buttons up here, just because, like, with me, I don't like a big gap there, and I'm kind of struggling to fit the finger down in here. And on the XR4, like, with where the Vision Metron bars are, like, there's no space there. I think it's the best I've used of the touchscreen bike computers, but it's not my perfect solution, to be honest. I'm a buttons person. So what about as a pure training tool, guys?
All the standard metrics are there, TSS, intensity, normalized power. But what's interesting is how I've been using the screen during training and racing.
Where I do find the map amazingly awesome. I had not done the descent before. I had the map shown up and I could see when the hairpins were coming. Really, really useful tool for descending, actually. And I actually used this at Tura Bright, descending Falls Creek. Tried to desperately hang on to Troy Herfross's wheel. As a pure training tool, it's fine. Right, no issues. My biggest gripe with it is when it starts to try and do too much. So, for example, there I'm doing an effort, and I'm getting emails, I'm getting notifications, I'm getting WhatsApps. You know, it records the data accurately. Those messages are coming in, and I don't know what's left in the effort and stuff like that. That's where it does let itself down a little bit. Just so over this humidity. Battery life's awesome, guys. Look, I've done multiple sort of 4-hour plus rides on one charge with all that connectivity, and it's only got down to sort of 20-30%. Now I need to point this out, I did stitch myself up twice, because if you do not power the device off and you have a default setting where it says go to sleep, your device goes to sleep. It does not power off, which runs battery. I turned it back on the next day or 2 days later, and the device was borderline flat. So just be careful. You either make sure you turn the device off after using it, or you make sure you don't set the default to go to sleep. smartphone connectivity. So I'm running the Android app using the Pixel 3. Now, I can theoretically get my messages, my text messages, my Facebook messages, my WhatsApp messages, my emails, all appearing to me on the screen. Now, not only do they appear, but I have the advantage that I can reply using a set number of customs that I can set up. So I can actually physically reply while on the bike, which I really, really like. I do want to say this, and this has to be said, it doesn't always work. It just doesn't always work. Phone just disconnected. No idea why. So the other bit of connectivity that's quite interesting is this emergency contact thing. Now, the theory is that when the device recognizes an incident or something like that, what it actually does is send a message to the person you have set as your emergency contact. What it actually means is Elizabeth has received 2 or 3 messages from Garmin Connect saying that Chris Miller has had an incident and gives the GPS location. It's all very good about that. The only problem was Chris hadn't actually had an incident. I just pulled up quickly at the lights. It's interesting, if you listen to, this is obviously the one time that it did work quite well, is at Tassie, obviously when we had the crash. You can hear in the background of my bike camera the Garmin going ballistic. And that is it, trying to send a message to Elizabeth to say I had an incident. Obviously my phone wasn't about, so it's kind of useless. And it's useless as well if, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, that connectivity has dropped out.
Farm operates on solar power, and I'm out of kits. Navigation, guys. So, 2 ways to look at navigation on this device. Well, the first is completely on this device, and if you are using this completely on the device, well, good luck to you. Because if you're using the Garmin API, so by that I mean, like, you know, searching for your point of interest, searching for your town, letting it do all the recalculations, everything, no, I'm sorry, just pull your phone out and use Google Maps. Like, where there is some value, build completely in Garmin Connect, or rely on something called STRAVA routes, which is one of these IQ, oh, don't start me on this stuff, IQ apps. Again, another half-baked app store thing, the IQ, I'll get onto that. What do you think of Garmin Connect, lads? They hate it as well. Garmin Connect, I can remember now, is the reason I left Garmin in the first place. All your data ends up there, but you don't want it there. You don't share it from there. You don't view it there. You don't want it there, but it ends up there anyway. And it's still the most direct conduit between you and the device. Look at that user interface. There are more menu items than there were people drop first lap of nationals. The cynical inside me thinks that basically Garmin are only keeping it to store our data to sell to third-party companies. And look, it plays nicely now, places we want our data to be. The Stravas, the Today's Plans, the Training Peaks, all that kind of stuff. It plays nicely with that, but it's still there, and that's still annoying. And now they've got this IQ app store. Like, I've got 2 of them on this device now. They don't work. They just don't work. Garmin, just make these really nice devices that look good, that work. Just forget about that back end stuff. Okay, before we do the conclusion thing, guys, please do subscribe, like this video if you do like this type of stuff. I am really keen to do more and more of these product things and make them long-term things, like make them not just, oh, I've just gone out for one ride and here are my thoughts, but actual genuine, like, okay, I've been doing this for a while, here's my pros, here's my cons. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what this review is, guys. I'm really, really stoked to do this because I really feel like I know my way around this device now. So the first pro is definitely just the full stop reliability and accuracy of this device. I have had no dropouts. I have had no corrupt files. This thing has not skipped a beat doing the one thing that I really want my bike computer to do, and that is record my riding data. 10 stars, 12 bows, I don't know. The second thing, guys, the other big pro is just the build quality. Like, even just having this in the hand it is really nice. It's a tactile device. Okay, yeah, I mean, you know, it's up there with a $1,000 sort of smartphone. Nice feel, tactile feel in the hand. It sits really nice and cleanly on the bike. I do like that. The aesthetic of it for me is really nice. I'd love to be able to customize some of this, but that's another thing. But for me, yeah, guys, the build quality and just the pure fatness, you know, is really good. The screen is flawless, guys. It is an LCD plasma on the front of your handlebars. Anyone who rides next to you can see your, it doesn't sound great, does it? And guys, I asked Chris Powell and Angus Calder, who both run the 1030 as well, like, what are your pros, what are your cons? And both of them came back like that, just saying, the screen, big pro, the screen. It is flawless, it's fantastic. The touch screen element of it is really good. It's not really good, but it's really good as far as I'm concerned. It's not going to be, you know, it's just not. It doesn't have the RAM, it doesn't have that capability. But for what it is, guys, on the front of your bars, absolutely supreme. Well, the number one negative is the connectivity and the reliability of it. Dropping in and out of the phone connection is really disappointing. Its connectivity to all the Ant Plus stuff, fine. But the Bluetooth connections to your phone, which allow it to then have all those other capabilities, they just don't work all the time. I'm sorry, they just don't. And it's almost more frustrating that it's sometimes working and sometimes not working, because then you just never know when you're actually meant to be getting notification. And the second negative, well, it kind of builds on from that connectivity, which is the Garmin ecosystem. I started all this out saying that was one of my big dangers of this, and it remains one of the big issues. Garmin Connect is abysmal. The weird sort of proprietary info like rest time and all these sort of things are just odd. And where it kind of tries to fill in gaps, like with group track and stuff like this, it's just trying to do too much. It's filling menu items with things that you either don't need or they just don't work really well. Third negative, and you can't avoid it, is the price. Now, so it's still going, it retails, now that's a good price and all, but you know, it retails for around $700 bucks. $700 for a bike computer. It's a lot of money. So for something that I'm then sitting here in front of you saying that it only does half the things that it says on its little specs list really well, it's a big call to offload $700 for it. You'll have to answer the question whether you think that is worthwhile, but you're going to ask me, do I think it is worthwhile? Well, look, my answer was going to be no, and was tracking well and truly on the no route. I was going to probably go back to a Wahoo or something like that. And then this came along. And Garmin, you've got me. You've put me in your ecosystem. You've given me a little accessory that I now can't live without. I love, and I'm gonna have to do a whole friggin' vlog about, because I think this is brilliant. So yeah, look, the Garmin Radar, it is, for me, I'm gonna do something about this. I think it's brilliant. I really do. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. Obviously, I'd love some comments on this. Garmin, this has to open a can of worms, right? So get involved, let us know what you think. I am gonna keep running this because of this, and we'll see how it tracks along, huh? Thanks again, guys. Oh, that's not a good sign.